Thank you so much, Graham. Sticking with that subject right now, Western Cape citizens have been on very high alert as we all anxiously fear the day we open our taps to no running water, a disaster that will have dire effects on our beloved mother city. However, just this week it was announced that Day Zero has been pushed out 4 days from the 12th of April until the 16th of April, a sign that the city and the citizens are beginning to take serious action. Now, on the line with me this morning, we have Mayoral Committee Member for Safety, Security and Social Services, Alderman JP Smith, who is here to answer all our Day Zero questions. Alderman, lovely to connect with you again.
Morning, Ian.
Lovely. Listen, yes, of course, I'm sure you have been very, very busy over the past couple of weeks. We are currently on level 6B water restrictions. It kicked in officially today with an allocation of 50 litres of water per day per person. Now, if every person in the Western Cape can adhere to these regulations, does that mean that Day Zero can potentially be avoided?
Completely. It's entirely possible for us to defeat Day Zero if we push ourselves closer to that 450 million litres a day. Then we can stretch our water reserves until the winter rains and the first of the augmentation schemes kick in. By next time this year, we'll be in a much better situation. But it's these next few months that are really the pressure. So you've heard the slogan 50 for 150. If we can each use 50 litres a day or cap ourselves at 50 litres a day for the next 150 days, we can make it. And there are very positive signs that the residents are starting to move in that direction. Yeah. Still some people who are wasting, and you've seen our enforcement blitzes are really intensified now. We are taking the wasters seriously, and we are responding to where the public complain about those wasters. We're tackling them head on.
Yeah, it's really a crucial time right now to start acting. Now, Cape Town is the first city in the world to potentially run out of water, which is very, very sad. And face a disaster of this kind is incredible. But plans have been, of course, now auctioned to acquire water from different sources. But what I want to ask is what measures have been put in place to ensure the health and safety of citizens?
I must say that if you heard this bit about Cape Town being the first city in the world, one of our senior water officials was giving a long list of cities who have been in dire water crisis over the last few years. It is unfortunately a fact facing more and more metropolitan areas across the world, and even whole regions like California have been in severe water shortage for quite a while. So I'm afraid this is the new normal. Climate change is a reality. But in Cape Town, if we have to get to a Day Zero scenario, I can tell you that we are well prepared. We've got a good and well-resource managed disaster management service. The preparations have been intense should we get to a Day Zero scenario, and that we will have the ability to ensure that everybody who needs to get water will, particularly the vulnerable groups, because there we have been working to identify those facilities, institutional care, frail care, old age homes, homeless shelters, etc. And then we're either making direct arrangements or they will have their water tanked to them. And in the case of individuals, there will be a public call for people to come forward and identify themselves. We have a call center for that purpose, and that call will be made in the next few days. And we will then match those against those people coming forward and offering assistance, of which I must tell you there's a plentiful abundance. Lots of organizations willing to help get water to the vulnerable ones.
Thank you very much. Let's quickly touch on the water collection point should we reach Day Zero. The City of Cape Town some information has been released as to the potential logistics in preparation of Day Zero. But what has been put in place to make provisions for the elders, the disabled who's not able to stand in queues?
So, as I said before, with people who can't visit the water collection points at all, they will make arrangements for volunteers to get water to them. And for those who arrive at the water collection points who are frail, there are shade structures and others that they'll be able to access. But quite frankly, we should make arrangements for them not to be there at all. Yeah. The sites are well capable. I mean, some of them have upwards of 600 taps. So we're well capable of getting the entire population of the city through these points in a 12-hour cycle. And if we overrun with that, it's possible to keep the pods open all day. So I'm not too worried that these will run properly. There's a lot of thinking and logistical planning that's gotten into it. And the South African National Defence Force and the Cities Enforcement Services, the National Police Service have all committed to being present, and National SANDF and SAPS have given us written commitments to those effect. We will have health services and our paramedics and basic life support on standby at these sites. So I'm confident that we can ensure the safety of people as they get there. Remember, nobody will pay for water and nobody will be turned away from the water collection points. All you have to do is present yourself. There's no accreditation or anything. It's a light regulation approach, and it's a self-regulating mechanism by virtue of the fact that there's only so much water you can carry away, up to a maximum of 100 litres.
Fantastic. Just to wrap up quickly, worst case scenario, if we do reach day zero, has the City of Cape Town predicted how soon again we could have water in our taps?
That depends, obviously, on when we reach day zero. If it's very close to when the rain starts and the augmentation schemes kick in, it could be as little as a few days or a couple of weeks. If we reach it as early as April, you might end up in that scenario for 3 months. But I'm very positive that that will not be a scenario. Citizens are showing that they are curbing their water consumption, and if everybody keeps on pushing in this direction, we will be able to make it, but we need to make that sacrifice now.
Exactly. We need to do it together. Alderman J.P. Smith, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for the hard work in keeping us informed as well.
Pleasure, sir.
And there we go. So make sure to adhere to those water restrictions, because we need to stand together to avoid day zero. And of course, to get all of those daily updates, you can log on to Twitter at City of CT Alerts.